Disclaimer. Please note that all that has been said within this video is purely revolved around my opinion and may not result to be identical to everyone else's opinions. Moreover, there will be very mild spoilers. Viewer discretion is advised. Beast Tamer is an isekai harem anime series that premiered in the fall of 2022. Originally adapting from its initial manga series by the authors Shige Muramoto and Miyama Suzu, its anime line follows the same story. Now, in regards to the anime, before officially deciding to watch the show, I hesitated a bit because the rating score on my anime list was rather low and it seemed like a ton of people didn't like the show. However, I thought I'd still give it a try because the animation of the characters were appealing. And to my surprise, I didn't dislike the series. In fact, I liked it. To discuss a brief about the story, it revolves around our protagonist, Rain Shroud, who has a job and ability called Beast Tamer, where he's able to tame other living creatures by creating a temporary contract that leaves them under his control. At the beginning of the story, Rain gets kicked out of his party called the Heroes Party, where they're destined to fight and win against the so-called Demon Lord. Consistently being blamed as a useless comrade, Rain accepts his fate and leaves the team. Left with a broken spirit and no set goal, he decides to become an adventurer, where he begins to meet creatures called the Ultimate Species. Ultimate Species are human-like creatures who come from different animal spirits and have immense power and skill. Although it is deemed to be a difficult task, Rain finds out that he is actually able to tame Ultimate Species. This later becomes one of his huge talents. As the story progresses, Rain comes across different scenarios where he helps resolve problems that the Ultimate Species are having. Because of Rain's pure and kind personality, the Ultimate Species decide to trust and accept Rain. One by one, they decide to be tamed by Rain and to make a contract to help him build a party to adventure with. As the party grows and the story continues, Rain's team becomes bigger and stronger. Again, this is a very short brief about the film. If you're interested in learning more about what the film is on, let me know. I'll make another video on it. Back to talking about the show, it's not unlikely to see new shows be rated so low due to it not meeting expectations from trailers, teasers, and more. So it isn't a surprise to see Beast Tamer rated at a 6.97 out of 10 and ranked 4,117 on my anime list. As there already are a ton of other masterpiece films out there, I think we, as the audience, start to construct a higher expectation for the shows in order to satisfy our needs for a better show. This just might be the case when it comes to Beast Tamer. Now, to discuss why people might dislike the show. I think one of the most common reasons as to why people might not like the show would be because of the typical and cliche plot. Although the concept of taming human-like creatures may be unique, the story about defeating a demon lord tied with the idea of a harem may seem repetitive, which makes it rather easier for people to begin comparing the show to other shows that may inherit similar ideas. That could certainly cause hesitance to continue watching the story for an individual. A second reason could be that the characters have rarely any character development. What I mean by this could be exemplified by Kanade, another protagonist whom represents the cat spirit. After being saved by Rain and being treated after a battle, Kanade falls for Rain very quickly. Rather than slowly building on trust and building a friendship throughout time, the two immediately become best friends. There was definitely potential to this growth and development. I think there was a lot of room for that to occur for the two, but it definitely did feel a bit rushed. And obviously, isekai harems are supposed to be illogical due to the fictional concept that the stories are built upon, but I felt that it was quite unfortunate that the characters weren't thoroughly being developed. A third and last reason that could potentially have been a dislike for people was how immortal and perfect Rain was. Yes, he's the main character and the world should revolve around him, but it felt a little too unreal. Not to mention that he is oblivious to the fact that he's extremely powerful. Moreover, a majority of the damages caused by his enemies rarely do anything to affect him, and it's almost as if he's the next god in the world. This made stories progress with no particular problems, which is nice, yet it made the plots more generic and undevelopmental. Now, obviously, these are just 3 of my simple reasons that I suspect are what made people dislike the show, but it's definitely not limited to these. To discuss why I personally enjoyed the show. Before anything, I'm not saying that this anime is perfect in every way possible, but I felt that the show portrayed enough of what I enjoyed for me to like the film. One of which is actually about the main character, Rain. Within the story, he indeed feels like an immortal character who seems to have endless powers that he's personally unaware about. But I felt that there was more to it than just that. Rain is an extremely caring, kind, and pure-hearted individual, which can be seen throughout the entirety of the show. Not only that, he shares a lot of personality traits that revolve around respect towards others, which I find to be extremely appealing. The show's character development may not seem too obvious and straightforward, but I think the way they specifically designed Rain to be was good enough. Moreover, I enjoyed the fact that the show was somewhat wholesome and calming. All the characters that are a part of Rain's party are similar to Rain in terms of personalities, which just helps carry on the wholesome aspect throughout the show. I also can't forget to mention how some scenes are very satisfying to watch, especially when the evil characters get taught a lesson by the good. In addition, there's nothing contextually sexual amongst the characters, which I think is a general plus in wholesome isekais, and so it really comes to whether you personally fit the taste of the film or not. Obviously, it won't satisfy everyone, but certainly it will satisfy some. So, should you watch Beast Tamer? I know this video features some mild to generic spoilers of the film, but if you're still watching this video wondering whether you should watch or skip this anime, let me just say this. If you're into wholesome isekais that tie together the ideology of having a harem, this show may definitely be a hit for you. If you're interested in more of a developmental story plot with logical decision making amongst the characters, this show might not best fit your interest. But again, in the end, it definitely doesn't hurt to give something a chance, and if you don't like the first couple of episodes, you can simply let it go and just continue on with other shows. So in conclusion, if you're like me and you relatively agree to what I said when I explained why I enjoyed the show, I would recommend you watch this. Otherwise, maybe it's best you move on to a different show. Now, that's it for the video. I'd like to apologize for being so inactive in terms of uploading on this channel. I'm definitely trying my best to grind however many I can throughout this break that I'm currently on, and I hope you will all stay tuned for that. Again, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon.